Have you ever, like, stopped to think about where your body really gets its energy from? I don't just mean, food or coffee. I mean deep down at the molecule level.
Yeah.
Every single thing, blinking, thinking, moving a muscle, it all needs energy. We just sort of take it for granted, don't we? Well, today on the deep dive, we're going inside. We're going to explore the incredible engine room of our bodies. We'll look at ATP and this thing called phosphorylation. It's pretty fascinating stuff, how you're powered.
That's absolutely right. Think of it as uncovering the body's, well, it's universal energy money, basically. It might sound a bit technical, biochemistry and all that, but understanding it gives you a really profound grasp on how you work, how every single cell gets powered up for every single job it does. It's fundamental.
Okay, so to get there, we need to start bigger picture,
Yeah.
right, with metabolism. Now, metabolism, people usually think, oh, that's how fast I burn calories, but it's way broader than just that, isn't it? Our
Yeah.
research shows it's like the whole collection of every chemical reaction happening inside us, all of it.
Exactly. And it's not just one big soup of reactions. It's got two main branches, kind of opposites, that are always working together in balance. First, you've got anabolism.
Anabolism. Okay.
Think of that as the building up stuff, synthesizing new molecules, like building muscle after you exercise or storing fat. And the crucial part here, anabolism uses energy. It needs energy input.
Right. Building takes energy, makes sense. So if anabolism builds things up and uses energy, the other side must be about breaking things down to get energy. Like,
Okay.
does building muscle always cost energy, even if someone's trying to lose fat overall?
Absolutely spot on. That's catabolism, the tearing down processes. This is where your body breaks down complex things like carbs or fats from your food into simpler bits. And the big difference, catabolism releases the energy stored in those molecules. So you've got this constant back and forth, using energy to build, breaking stuff down to get more energy. Your body's incredibly efficient at managing it all.
Okay, managing energy. That brings us right to the star player, doesn't it? ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And its partner, ADP, adenosine diphosphate. What the sources really highlight is ATP's structure. It's got 3 phosphate groups, hence the tri.
And what's really neat is how it releases energy. It's simple but powerful. Think of ATP as being kind of like a wound-up spring full of potential energy, especially in the bond holding that third phosphate group on. When that specific bond breaks, snap, energy is released, lots of it. And the ATP molecule becomes ADP, which only has 2 phosphates left. The di means 2.
Ah, okay.
So high energy ATP releases power, becomes lower energy ADP, and then that ADP is ready to be charged back up again.
So ATP is the charged battery. How do we actually use that charge, that energy? You mentioned dephosphorylation. Sounds a bit technical.
It does, but the idea is straightforward. It just means breaking the bond, specifically between the last 2 phosphate groups in ATP.
Okay.
And yeah, it's described as a very high energy bond.
Yeah.
So breaking it is what provides the juice for, well, pretty much everything your cells do.
How does that bond actually break, though?
Good question. It's technically a hydrolysis reaction.
Hydrolysis, water.
Exactly. Hydro for water, lysis for splitting.
Yeah.
A water molecule gets involved and helps break that bond apart like a tiny chemical wedge. And making this happen fast requires a specific enzyme called ATPase.
ATPase.
Well, ATPase speeds up the dephosphorylation. The result is ADP plus that phosphate group that got broken off, which we call inorganic phosphate or just pi. And this happens, constantly, millions of times a second inside you.
Millions. Wow. Okay, so that's using the energy, dephosphorylation. But then how do we recharge ADP? How do we remake the ATP? That must be the reverse, right? Phosphorylation.
Precisely. Phosphorylation is all about adding a phosphate group back onto ADP,
Yeah.
reforming that high-energy ATP molecule.
Okay, adding it back on.
But just like charging any battery, you need to put energy in to do that.
Right. It takes energy to store energy.
Makes sense, doesn't it? That energy gets stored right back into that bond between the second and third phosphate group, ready to be used again. And to make this recharging efficient, there's another key enzyme, ATP synthase.
ATP synthase. So ATPase breaks it, ATP synthase makes it.
Kind of, yeah. ATP synthase is amazing. It drastically decreases the energy needed to stick that phosphate back onto ADP. Makes the whole process much easier. And our sources show that the majority of ATP is made via ATP synthase. It happens right at the end of cellular respiration during a step called oxidative phosphorylation.
Oxidative phosphorylation. We'll come back to that, I bet.
We will. And interestingly, this ATP synthase enzyme, it's actually embedded in the inner membrane of the mitochondria.
Ah, the powerhouses of the cell.
The classic powerhouses, exactly. But it's a really important point. Not all ATP is made this way, though.
Okay, that is interesting. So if most ATP comes from ATP synthase in the mitochondria, but not all, what's the other way?
Yeah, the body's clever. It has two main methods for phosphorylation for making ATP. The first one is called substrate-level phosphorylation.
Substrate level.
Okay. Think of this one as more direct, simpler. Basically, a phosphate is transferred directly from another molecule, a substrate, onto ADP. It's like a quick pass, a handoff of the phosphate group.
No synthase needed.
Exactly. Crucially, it does not use ATP synthase. And you find this happening during glycolysis and the Krebs cycle. These are earlier steps in breaking down fuel, like sugar. It gives you a quick, smaller burst of ATP.
Okay, direct handoff, no synthase, happens during glycolysis and Krebs. Got it. What's the second type then?
The second type, and this is the big one in terms of quantity, is oxidative phosphorylation.
The one you mentioned happens with ATP synthase.
That's the one. It's a completely different beast. It occurs after the electron transport chain. What happens is this chain passes electrons along step by step and captures their energy. Think of it like a tiny biological power line. That captured energy is then used to drive ATP synthase.
Ah, so the electron chain powers the synthase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
ATP synthase acts like a microscopic rotary engine, using that energy to churn out loads of ATP. So unlike substrate level, this one absolutely uses ATP synthase. And again, it occurs following the electron transport chain, mainly in those mitochondria.
Okay, so two ways. Substrate level is quick, direct, less ATP. Oxidative is complex, uses the electron chain and synthase, makes way more ATP.
You've got it. What's really cool is how they work together. Substrate level gives you that immediate energy, like for a quick sprint. Oxidative phosphorylation is your marathon runner, providing the bulk of the energy for sustained activity, or just, living.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. We started broad with metabolism, the building up, anabolism, and the breaking down, catabolism. Then zoomed into the actual energy currency, ATP and ADP. We saw how dephosphorylation breaks ATP to release energy, and how phosphorylation, through those two ways, substrate level and oxidative, rebuilds it, recharges the battery. It's this nonstop cycle, this incredibly efficient energy dance happening constantly inside us. It really is like the ultimate recycling program.
It really is.
Yeah.
An amazing miniature power grid running inside you. And when you connect this tiny molecular world to the bigger picture, understanding ATP, phosphorylation, dephosphorylation, it's totally foundational. It helps explain things that seem miles away, like how well you perform physically, how your body uses nutrients from food, your basic cellular health. Everything links back to this, which, raises a fascinating question.
Go on.
Well, if this relentless energy exchange, this ATP turnover is happening constantly, what does that tell us about the very nature of being alive?
That's a great point. Just think about the sheer scale of it. Billions, maybe trillions of these ATP molecules being made and used inside you every single second. Right now, it's just mind-bogglingly efficient and complex, this biological machine you inhabit. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, what does that incredible efficiency, that constant energy juggling imply about the fundamental drive, the sheer persistence of life itself? Something to ponder.